Hi, my name's Ashley. How many times have you been sitting in a classroom or at work and your stomach starts to growl at you and rumble and you're worried that someone else might have heard that? It can be slightly embarrassing and you're probably starting to look at your watch or your phone to see when you can get out of there to grab a bite to eat. Unfortunately, not everyone can just grab a bite to eat. In the US, there are 42,238,000, which is 13.4% of the total population of people that struggle with hunger daily, according to feedingamerica.org. 13.4% may not seem like a large percentage, but that's about 1 in 7 people who struggle to find food. So in a class of 30 people, that's 4. Over the holidays, there were so many ads and grocery stores that were advertising to help the local food baskets, right? I began looking into the issue and have since then furthered my knowledge so I can possibly help others understand that there is an issue to begin with. After my research, I started to reflect on my past and remember a friend that I had, and they'd always be in the lunchroom, and you know, everyone else has their lunchbox, but they never had one and they'd never stand in line to get food. And I really hope now that they never struggled with food insecurity, but after all of this research, I realized that it's more likely than I would have imagined back then. Thousands of people go daily questioning when their next meal might be. When asked if you knew about the issues with local food insecurity, most of you weren't aware of the problem. Even though you guys didn't know that there was an issue to begin with, 80% of you had previously donated to a local food bank of some kind. When asked about the concerns you might have, a couple of you said that it was mainly you just didn't know that there was an issue to begin with. So today I hope that I'm able to persuade you to help the local community that struggle with hunger. First, the amount of people that do struggle with food insecurity locally. Second, that there is an easy way to help these people and it shouldn't interfere too much with your daily schedule. Lastly, how these benefits don't just reach the people that needed the help, but they also reach the community and yourself. First, I will explain how many people who struggle with food insecurity are in our local area. The problem that we face here is that so many people are food insecure, but not very many people actually realize it's a problem. As I already stated, 42,238,000 people nationally struggle with food insecurity, and that's from feedingamerica.org. In Idaho, there are 232,180 people that struggle with hunger according to feedingamerica.org. That number may seem small compared to the US, but that's about 14% of Idaho's population, which also comes from feedingamerica.org. In Bonneville County, according to feedingamerica.org, 13,140 people struggle with hunger, which is 12.2% of Bonneville's population. If someone goes long enough without a meal, they might resort to something more unconventional like dumpster diving, and they could end up getting sick and might end up in the hospital or even worse. As we now know, there are too many people that struggle to find food daily, which can be connected to poverty and crime. According to the United States Census Bureau, the unemployment rate nationally in 2016 was 7.4%, which is approximately 11,805,773 people who are unemployed. The United States Census Bureau also reported in 2016 that Bonneville County's unemployment rate was 4.7%. According to a study done by the University of Texas, there is a correlation between childhood hunger and poor impulse control that can lead to violence and crime in the future. The United States Census Bureau found that 9.4% of Bonneville County live below the poverty level, meaning finding food is a daily struggle. Because these families struggle with hunger, the children are more likely to have a future full of crime and violence. This is a problem that happens all around us, even if we might not see it. Like I mentioned before, I first noticed that there was a food insecurity issue in Idaho Falls when I was grocery shopping locally and kept getting asked if I wanted to donate. In Idaho Falls, based on the information from feedingamerica.org, you can calculate approximately 1 in 8 people are food insecure. The data I learned from my survey showed that none of you knew someone personally or were personally struggling with food insecurity. Based on my classroom analogy from before and the information learned from feedingamerica.org, about 3 people in a classroom of 30 struggle with hunger. During my time in college and high school, I've definitely had classes with 30 or more people in them, which means there's at least 3 people in those classrooms that struggle with hunger, and it could be the person that sits next to you every day. Now that it is obvious that there is a serious problem with food insecurity locally, I will explain how hunger can be satisfied. So by now, we should all just start fighting world hunger and poverty, right? Unfortunately, real life isn't like Hollywood, and it doesn't work like that. We would have to do a lot more as a community, a nation even, or the world as a whole to even put a dent in world hunger and poverty. And money is also super important to that, and by now we should all know that, hopefully, money doesn't grow on trees. The best we can do right now, and the least time-consuming option to help people who struggle with hunger and food insecurity, is to donate to the Community Food Basket Idaho Falls chapter, which is a local food basket that helps those who struggle with food daily and have emergency needs for food, which comes from the Community Basket Idaho Falls webpage. Donating to those who struggle with food insecurity doesn't just help those people that needed it, but it can help the community, and it can also help you. As I mentioned before, hunger and crime are connected. So helping satisfy hunger can help make the community a safer place. When I asked in my survey if you had donated to some kind of food bank before, the majority of you said yes. And for some, it was because you had food you didn't need and you didn't want it going bad, so you donated. Personally, I hate how much food I waste, and especially when I know now that so much of it could help somebody else who needs it. If you're the same, donating your canned goods or donating other foods could make you feel a little bit better, even if it's just something small. As a student, or even as an employee, schedules can be hectic. I get it. And that might be a reason you don't want to donate, because you just don't have time to do it. However, the Community Food Basket Idaho Falls makes it very easy and non-time consuming to donate. Firstly, to go to an on-site location could take some time out of your day, but it shouldn't take too much. For me to drive anywhere in Idaho Falls, it takes from point A to point B, it takes about 15 minutes. So you could take just a quick 5-minute detour on your way somewhere to make a donation. Secondly, technology has made things so much faster and easier in any kind of situation, including making a donation. There's a place on the Community Food Basket's website to make a donation of money. Or if you'd feel better making an actual food donation, there's a virtual grocery store that you can shop at for somebody. Since it is now clear how easy and non-time consuming making a donation is, let's see what the possibilities are if you do donate versus not donating. As has been mentioned, not donating to the Community Food Basket Idaho Falls can lead to violence and crime. A child that deals with hunger regularly can become dangerous to the community in the future. You could end up the victim of a robbery or some other crime, from a teenager or an adult that struggled with hunger as a child. If you do donate, there are positive outcomes for those who struggle, the community, and yourself. If you donate, by donating to a family who struggles, you can be preventing the tragedy of a little kid sitting in a lunchroom with their friends, not eating anything, and in order for that child to avoid possibly being embarrassed, them continuing to lie to their friends, "I'm just not hungry today," while their stomach continues to growl at them furiously. By donating, you can also be preventing a higher crime rate in the community. And lastly, by donating, you can be lowering your own possibility of experiencing crime in the future. After looking at the possibilities that come with donating and not donating, let's look at the actions that need to take place now. The next time you're shopping around online to kill some time, or you're just looking for something to do, go to the Community Food Basket Idaho Falls website. Either click on the Donate Now button to donate some money, or you can try out the virtual grocery store. In closing, I hope you will take time to make a donation, which isn't a lot of time, or at least have gained some knowledge on the issue that surrounds us in Idaho Falls.